Hey y'all, it's your girl Key.
What's up? It is Bree.
I found this quote and I'm gonna read it to you, and I want to see what you think about it first, okay? Because it gave me an idea. All right, you ready?
As ready as I'm gonna be.
And this is I didn't write this. I'm gonna click on it one more time. I'm not really sure who wrote it. It doesn't say, but it says relationships never die a natural death. They are always murdered by attitude, behavior, ego, or ignorance. It's a lot.
One more time.
Okay. Relationships never die a natural death. They are always murdered by attitude, behavior, ego, or ignorance. So that's a lot, right? In that one quote, right? And so as I read it, before I say what I was going to say, what's like your face says a lot? How did that quote just make you feel like instantly just when I said it?
Instantly? It made me feel like, oh, Bree, you definitely played a role.
Oh, so you're a murderer. No,
wow.
I am using the words of the quote. I am not saying you are a serial killer, any of those sorts out there. I'm just saying when you heard that, you instantly went into like accountability, it sounds like almost.
Yeah. Like I didn't just fall out of love. It didn't just transition or fade away. It's like, nah, that's too easy. Like you gotta own your shit in this thing that went away. It was that.
I love that. When I first read it, at first I'm trying to bounce off of things we've said before and make it all come together. But when I first read it, I feel like my ego read it. And I was like, this is harsh. And I was like, what you mean? But as I reread it again, I was like, okay, it was the first line that threw me off more than the murder part when it said relationships don't die a natural death, because I believe that they do. But I understand what the quote is saying is like, most of them don't, because they get murdered versus just able to dwindle out naturally, like we play a part, right? So then when I'm reading it, I'm like, okay, then your accountability statement comes and it's like,
yes,
how many relationships have we as people been in where we, to this day, so to this very moment on August the 9th, 2022, to this very day, the story we tell points the finger.
Yeah.
And it never really includes what we did. Right?
Ooh, okay.
Like it's kind of like, well, why didn't y'all work out? Well, he or she was bam, bam, bam. It's a list. And so when we read that quote, it's like ego comes up that murders. It's basically relationships are murdered by your attitude, your behaviors, your ego, are just plain ignorance. And I would like to say that no matter who you are, no matter what you've been through, you are not the victim 24/7, 365, 366 on a leap year. But does staying in that space keep us in that space when it comes to the next relationship? Like, what would it be like to own your part? And would that help people heal more from past relationships, even on those they think they've healed from and they really haven't? So it's kind of like, what do we do with that? If you the murderer. So that's what we're going. If you the murderer.
This quote speaks your language. Let me say that.
Because y'all be killing me. Now this
oh my God.
But yeah, so like so that's where my head is. So I think we should like dive into that, right? So we're doing what we call it, like victim or perpetrator.
Yes, victim or perpetrator.
Which
role do you choose?
Yeah, two sides of the same coin, right? Like there's a head and there's a tail, but how does it impact you maintaining this victim stance if you do overall? And do you really think you the victim 24/7? Because that is completely different to me. Like if you really believe that, it's different if you just lying and you telling people this version of the story because you want to leave your parts out. But if you truly believe that you were the full victim 24/7, I feel like we need to do more digging, because ain't no way, sis or sirs, ma'ams. Miss Mamas, as that man says that I like to follow on Instagram.
Ain't no way, sister, ma'am's what?
And Miss Mamas. That's what
Okay.
what is his name? Ricky Fontaine says that on
Oh,
Instagram. He's
yes.
like, hey Miss
Yeah.
Mamas. And I just think it's hilarious. So that like, but you went into accountability. So tell me, not like
Yeah.
your story, but what is that? You're able to realize that you are not a victim in every moment, in every situation.
No, not a victim at all. Well, okay. So
Oh boy, here we go.
don't do
I,
that.
I saw
Don't
it.
do that. Okay. I am getting better.
Okay.
I would say maybe initially, like in the moment, I would definitely attach to being the victim. Like all these things happen to me, and this is why I am this way. This is why I feel this way. How dare you?
Mm-hmm.
Hindsight, is that what it is? Hindsight?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Hindsight, looking back, analyzing, going over things, I can now acknowledge when we talk about accountability, like my role in my journey to being a victim, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, okay, me, I did not fall into being a victim. I played a role in attaining that label or that status, whether that be my lack of communication, whether that be ignoring things that I might have turned into a orange flag instead of just calling it red.
I like how you change the colors.
I do that.
I like it. Okay, so you like part of it is you ignoring stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay. And
Absolutely.
so let's just dig deeper because not necessarily to your story because I
I
don't
didn't
want to
even
hear.
give you. I did not even give
I
you
felt
an
it coming
expression.
through because I'm probably
Okay,
got PTSD from you or something. But
we're doing that today. Cool.
I love you. But so we're missing flags. So we're not always recognizing things. And then I can't help but think about quotes I keep seeing on the internet. And the reason I say that is because people live by this stuff, right? Like people will post a meme or GIF and be like, it is like they found it in the Bible or like etched on stone. You know what I'm saying? And
Look,
so
I've
one
been
thing that
there.
keeps
I got
one
screenshots
keeps
galore.
sticking out to me when you said I missed the flags. Another one is when people say things like, oh, my favorite I've been seeing for years is you are not supposed to have to teach somebody how to love you. And I think that is the dumbest shit I have ever heard in my
All the
life.
lies.
And so I wonder, like, but that type of thinking, how does that play into me believing I'm the victim all the time? Because where is your communication?
Sure.
Where is your understanding that you're communicating with somebody that's not you? Why are we taking that for granted, right? Like, as I've said a million times on here before, you've never experienced yourself. You've had experiences with yourself, but you've not experienced yourself. So sometimes I think even when people think they're a good communicator, they're not always as good as they believe. And if your message was not clear to the receiver, you got to take some ownership of that. Not just that they didn't get it, but also did I present it in a way that they were going to digest, or did I present it how I digest?
Yeah. Okay.
But that's the lyric, right? So it's kind of like, that's what I thought of when you said that. It's like your attitude is probably presenting the opposite. If my behavior is passive aggressive, my attitude probably is.
Definitely.
Right? Like, I'm okay. I'm okay. That's fine. But then you acting a fool with your behavior. So your attitude is lying, essentially.
Yep. Incongruent, as we call it in the therapy world. Yep.
Yep. Well, when you say like, well, it just kind of go hand in hand. So I think if you had a passive aggressive behavior, you had a passive aggressive attitude about it, probably going back and forth in your head about something or whatever was going on. What? Just say whatever was going on.
I feel like we talked about this yesterday.
We did. Oh, we did.
With the question? Yeah.
Yes, we did. We did. But yeah, but so your murder choice was your behavior and your attitude.
Yeah, because I don't even know if it's ego. I think I'm not attaching to the ego part because I feel like I'm a very considerate second, third, fourth chance type of person. So I'll abandon my ego I will abandon my ego to show up for you, even if I don't benefit from it.
I will abandon my ego to show up for you, even if I don't benefit from it. I ain't gonna lie to you. That sounds real romantic almost. Like, not trying to be funny, but I feel like that's
It could
love.
be, but that's also
Oh,
unhealthy.
yeah, but it just sounded
And
romantic.
almost borderline codependent to some degree.
Yes, but depending on the situation, right? Because if you're with somebody that's willing to do the same, that'll equal out great. But if it's just you doing it, okay, well, I figured that person wasn't when you said it, but okay, so not the ego, just your attitude and your behavior.
You know what? I take it back. I don't
Oh,
take
now
it
you
back.
bring it back. Okay.
Because I had a thought. I don't take it back.
Okay.
Whatever.
Look, I'm sorry.
I got out of a session before we decided to record this podcast, and it was a great session with a wonderful client. And so I'm really trying to do this whole mental shift to be here now. And it's the struggle. So y'all forgive me. But no, I'm thinking about ego, right? And I was talking to Angela, my therapist, about this several months ago. And I said something like, because I am such a great person, and I believe I show up in this way in relationships, I don't understand how someone could not be honest, how someone could not trust me. And I think that speaks to ego.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
like this love that I have to give to this person, how can you not be healed by it? Like that shit.
How can you not be better with being around me? I made you. I can make you feel
because I'm wonderful, right?
Yeah.
And not on some cocky shit, but I know who I am as far as what I bring to the table, right? And I'm like, if I'm bringing this, what is there to question? Like, what is the problem? So I attach that piece to ego.
Okay.
And that could be a murder weapon, because then I come in knowing this, and I don't give this person space to, I don't know, transition or evolve or maybe grow in some way. So maybe my murder weapons are now attitude, behavior, and ego.
Well, I done used all of them murder weapons.
Well, we'll probably say ignorance too.
I have probably used every single one on there. Just in interactions, right? Because this is not just, you don't always make it to a relationship, for instance, with people, but I can see all of them showing up. I definitely, because it's like the ignorant part comes from depending on what stage I was in life. So the ignorance of, I was ignorant, and not to the obvious. I was ignorant to what I actually wanted and needed. So that didn't help me navigate to be able to tell somebody else. I was ignorant to my own worth, and I was ignorant to my own intuition, which killed
that part
a lot.
Yeah.
And then the ego and ignorance did a dance when I would meet people, and then the ego makes me feel like, I guess I'll say that out loud. The ego made me feel like I knew more about this person than I did. So then the ignorance comes up, because and not like I'm trying to tell you who you are, but like you're vibing, and like you're like, okay, I know how this person acts, but my ignorance was like, no, we actually don't. We don't, and we are just filling in blanks, and these blanks are allowing us to stay in situations longer than necessary because my ego tells me I do, but I'm really ignorant to what's happening here. And then I would ignore my intuition about being ignorant about what's happening here. Because the ego was like,
continues.
Yeah, it's just a continuous thing. And then my attitude and behavior is, I have been told, even up to recently, probably up until 2 days ago.
It wasn't me. It was not me.
No, it wasn't you. And I've been told this by guys and then a girl lately. My spiritual agent said, "You so." She was like, "You so nonchalant," and I was like, "I don't be coming off as nonchalant." She was like, "You do." She was like, "You're very nonchalant," and so I had a man tell me I was stoic. Basically, I keep hearing I'm hard to read. And you know, my smart aleck response is, "Who told you to try to read me? You don't know me, mind your business." But that's not what I said.
Wow.
That's not what I said.
You
I
said that
my smart aleck response. Yes. But I was like, so that makes me, so I put it together. So when I reflect on people I've interacted with, I really think that people don't know how I feel about them, even if I'm saying it sometimes. I don't know if they just don't believe me. I I have a 24-hour poker face, and people don't like that. But it's not intentional. I'm not purposely like hiding like my emotions because I can verbalize them. I just have never been, even as a child, a strong reactor outwardly. So if you get
Okay.
a strong reaction out of me, we're talking like if Bree, if you came to me and was like, and I would never wish this on you, but if you came to me and you like this man put his hands on you, that's an
Yeah,
instant reaction. Like, oh,
absolutely.
we about to go shoot him. Excuse my language, but it is. Well, I'll burn him with hot grits. I said it. I
Off
don't
the
care.
record. Off the record.
But I would burn him with hot grits. Like it's an instant. You're going to see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for most of the times, it's just like I'm a processor. So internally, I might have things going on. It's just not going to show outwardly, and people don't like that. So my behavior has shown that, and my attitude reflects that apparently. But I'm trying to be better. I just don't know what the people want.
Can two things be true at
Yes.
once? So can you be both a heavy intentional processor while also maybe, I don't want to say waiting for or looking for. Okay, sidetrack.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna hate me for this episode. Oh my god. Sidetrack. I was watching a video on Instagram. I can't remember if it was Amanda Seals, maybe. And she
Okay.
said something like, it's not that, something along the lines of, it's not that I am guarded or I am blocking myself from you. It's just that you haven't created a safe space for me to just be all these things. So I'm wondering if that can be the coexistence. Can I be a heavy processor while also not having the safe space, whether that be in friendship and family, in dating, whatever, to just show up authentically in the moment, to remove this nonchalant or this mask or whatever we want to call it?
It could be. I mean, I wouldn't knock that. I wouldn't knock that. I know where it comes from, though. I'm not that. I've been ever since I was little. I don't know. People have probably heard this saying, and I think I was just one of the people that took it very literal, and I probably just been this way since I was a kid. And that is, you don't got to look like what you're going through. So I just don't look like it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I just don't. But it's not like I won't, like cry in front of you or nothing like that. I just don't look like what I'm going through because I don't feel the need to look like what I'm going through. So now it's just a natural habit, which is why I'm like, I can now, like I said, even if we're getting into an argument, I can still probably be calm about it most of the time, unless you just said the wrong thing. Then it's like I will punch you up in the air. I'm not actually violent. I just say that because it makes
you, girl.
I do not punch on people. It just be the thought. Most humans want to punch people sometimes. I don't care what nobody says. I just say it out loud, but I don't do it. But yeah, so it's like I just don't I do not look like what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And I take responsibility for that. So I try to be more. So when you say, can it coexist? Yes, because here's the flip side of that. When I do, if your reaction is you can't really take it, why am I going to do this again? And that's just me being human. I'm not going to do that again because sometimes people want things from you that they can't really handle.
We had a guest that was talking about that. I think that was Atlas.
He gonna be back. I'm gonna call him. Yeah, come on back.
He was talking about like being in relationships, and they say, "Oh, you can tell me your whole story. I can take it." He said, but then you tell it to them, and they like they have nothing to say. He's like, "So you wasn't ready. You wasn't ready to hold my truth."
Yeah. So when you said not providing a safe space, absolutely, it's a million people that I have dealt with in life, from friendships to coworkers to dating, that have not made me feel safe enough to be fully vulnerable like that. I definitely can acknowledge that. So I think that has become, I've used that instead of it just being a negative thing for me. I have also tried to use it in a sense that, well, if you don't feel that way, is this also a sign that this person just ain't supposed to be in your life? Like how hard am I willing to work to create a safe space versus being able to recognize the red or orange flag that this person can never create one for me because I'm not really supposed to be around them.
I'll be squinting so hard looking for the green.
You be trying to make it green, okay? You be doing that. What's the thing where they put the dress up? Is it white and gold or blue or something? You like, I really want to see the other color.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, it's not red, it's orange. And orange means I can keep trying.
Yeah.
Because if I hit red, it's like, what are you doing? You want to be hurt.
Yep.
You want to be
and
hurt.
I think you just spoke to why we play the victim.
Mhm.
If I take responsibility for being the perpetrator sometimes, now I have to face that. And people don't want to deal with that. I don't want to look bad. I don't want to feel like I chose to be hurt. I don't want to feel like I played a role in my own traumas. I don't want to feel like, what's the word? I don't want to feel like I'm the toxic person.
We have all been toxic. Oh my God.
Yes. Obviously, right? Because we've all were human. But
Yeah.
I think that helps. Like if I'm the victim, somebody has to save me. If I'm the victim, I have no power and control. And these things just happen to me. I did not make these things happen. There's nothing I could have done. And if I don't think there's anything I could have done, then I'm not going to grow and I'm not going to change. And I get to remain comfortably in jail. In a cage. There's no freedom in that.
In the trash.
Yeah, in the trash. There is freedom and truth and honesty and ownership.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the listeners are out here blaming all their exes
for who they are
everything that's ever happened.
Yeah.
And then you use that as your excuse as to why you act that way with other people. And I don't like that. For people out there doing that, I don't like that.
Yeah. And this is just the way I am because of what he did.
Instead of I'm just choosing to be this way because I'm scared to
do the work. Say it, Key. I'm scared too.
I'm not, oh Jesus. I'm sorry, but woo, that was a moment. Yeah, scared to do the work.